Okay, we're on action, guys. Action. I can't help but want to talk about the differences between surrender and control, the difference between freedom and ego, the difference between flow, basically how it feels and what is actually the difference between the two and what is the more better way, more smooth way to live with it, okay? Because as much as we like to say some things and look at the world, sometimes things don't go the way they need it in our mind, and overall how we liked it, but here it is the truth that they shouldn't go that way. Maybe they shouldn't go that way. Maybe because it did not happen that way. It's not some curse. It's not some, I don't know, somebody conspiring against you. But maybe the simple truth is that it's not natural way to go. Okay, it just when something needs to happen, it will happen. When something wants you to make it happen, eventually you will make it happen. But when something stubbornly refuses to happen, what does that mean? What does that mean? That maybe something it's not with the natural order of things, okay? See, the difference between, I want to go on detail on that, so I will try my best to go on detail, but if you wonder if you operate on flow and generally with the natural way of being, or you just get inside your mind, it's just making more friction, okay? The mind here, it's weapon for the heart, okay? But the moment the mind starts to lead and not listen, there's when things really start to feel just not right, okay? We can explain the feelings all day long, guys, but just something doesn't feel right, okay? No matter how you do it, what you do it, what you create, just something is itsy bitsy inside, okay? And if we look more closely, we can realize that we operate from ego sometimes, okay? And how we differentiate between ego? Well, egoistic desire and heart desire so not alike. I can tell that. And sometimes it's subtle, okay? Sometimes it's subtle. We cannot stay in either state for too long, eventually, because let's be real. The earth is, I was gonna say fucked up place, but that's not entirely true. It can be fucked up place, but his baseline is not fucked up place, okay? Freshness. It's not fucked up place, but ultimately it forces you to be in either way. Because the ego is reinforced, okay? The ego drive seat can be reinforced because you know how it is. The world demands that, the world expects this and that. So you can be kind of juggle between two, between that. But overall, everything that you need is inside your heart, okay? It's inside. And sometimes it's really convincing to not believe that, because sometimes the heart don't hold only beauty. There's some rough things down there, and we know that. And so how we differentiate, how we make the difference between, I mean, it's pretty easy to confuse that, but we gotta realize that if you try to control as much as you can, I mean, if you operate from your mind, eventually we'll feel some tightness. It's gonna be subtle, but it's gonna be like you want something to go some way and to listen to your mind, okay? To listen to your mind, to execute, to strategize with your mind, and the substance behind it, it's not so much for you. It doesn't feel brightening, okay? It doesn't feel like just something flash on you. Where fall and the natural way of being never feels like that. It can indeed, we don't deny that neither of the two is better than the other, simply because, yeah, the one is natural, the other is not. The other is just friction of the ego, of the human self. I believe it's just with other name we can call it. I mean, the superficial mind. Okay, let's just make example of speech. Okay, of creation. You know, when you talk from ego, you are just trying to desperately change something so you can feel more safer. Okay, if something is how you apply from ego, how you initiate from ego, is simply because you wanna change reality so bad in the moment when you know, and the substance behind it is not. It doesn't feel like you desire that thing. It feels like it hides. It's hiding something deeper. Okay, it's hiding something deeper, and more like, I don't know. That doesn't mean that you can function. You can function on that state, but wow, what I realized. Okay, I'm gonna give my example. Every time we operate from ego, we stay miserable. Okay, because it's disconnected truly from ourselves. We are not our mind. Our mind is our weapon. It's our weapon. But it's not the main source of power that comes, okay? It's the heart. It's the infinite being of all, okay? So, yeah, I was for the example. You talk from ego, you reply from ego. You try so bad to deny the reality of it. So you don't actually play with reality for the play, but you desperately try to, I was gonna say shut down it, but the shutdown is the consequence of trying to change the reality for what it is right now, okay? And so that doesn't bring the fun that your heart is trying to guide you to, okay? Also, the ego can be pretty rigid and fixed, okay? Okay, the ego can be established on some actions and courses of being that are rigid, okay? That try to preserve some identity, which identity, we're not just one thing, we're not this and that and that and this. But in reality, we're ever changing and constantly upgrading, constantly changing, and there's nothing fixed, okay? There's nothing fixed in your identity, who you are. You can always be something else. You can always be this and that, but it's not so much of the intention of being that, but it's so much of what reality presents to you, and you just fall with it, okay? That's how it is. It feels lighter. It doesn't feel that defensive, okay? It doesn't feel like you try so desperately to defend something, because if you don't defend it, maybe something evil is gonna fall on you. No. Obviously, pain, it will always find your way, but it never gonna find your way just because. Okay, I mean, it's gotta have balance. Pain without beauty, it's nothing. Beauty without pain, ugliness without beauty, pain without sparks. It's gotta have balance because you cannot appreciate neither of the other things in you. You cannot see the contrast, okay? Like, alignment and flow never comes with big ass effort that constantly drains you because you cannot sustain it, okay? That's one of the if you don't put effort, you're gonna die. That's one of the big differences. Cool guys and not so cool guys in YouTube. How you achieve either of those states? I mean, you don't have to achieve them, you just have to be it, okay? If you assume that you don't want to live with constant dread and searching for answers and scrapping, doing this and doing that, I mean, if you are smart and if you're wise, you will try to be present always, always, whatever it is, accepting this and this and that, because in reality, we can't control that. For Christ's sake, we can't control how we do it. I'm not the guy. I will genuinely say I'm not the guy who will give you practical steps, relentless practical steps, because in reality, everyone has the answer inside him, but try to be as present as you can in your own way, and try to not resist reality, okay? Try to not resist reality, my friend. Somebody was maybe was gonna say common sense, but I don't think it's common sense. Common sense these days, okay? It's not. Goodbye, amigos.